Greetings. I'm Carol Spears, Certified Music Practitioner and CEO of the Music for Healing and Transition Program, MHTP. MHTP creates an international network of trained and certified musicians to bring into medical facilities the healing nature of music to those who are ill, suffering, and dying. This is done through the science-based art of providing live, individualized therapeutic music. MHTP was founded in 1994, and over these many years since, MHTP has trained over 1,100 musicians in the art and science of therapeutic music and of being a healing presence. Our graduates, called Certified Music Practitioners, CMPs, are found on 4 different continents. Live therapeutic music is specific to each patient's condition in the moment and can be changed if necessary by the CMP. Very importantly, it is not just the music that creates a healing environment. It is also the intentional presence of trained, knowledgeable CMPs who bring into the patient's room their compassion, their knowledge, and their desire to be of service through therapeutic music. All of this creates for the patient a time of comfort, pain relief, relaxation, with all of the beneficial physiological responses and stabilization that result. And sometimes it is just a sense of connection with another human being and a bit of normalcy in a time of stress and fear and pain for the patient. This recording is to share with you examples of the types of music our graduates provide to all kinds of patients, stressed medical staff, and patients' families as they play live therapeutic music at the bedside of individual patients or for staff as they go about their duties. CMPs play on-site in hospitals, hospice, nursing homes, patients' homes, and also provide live telehealth therapeutic music sessions when medical in-person restrictions are in place. The recordings are not just examples of therapeutic music. Interwoven are some of the stories of observations and experiences CMPs have had while providing live therapeutic music sessions. Many thousands of stories similar to those you will hear could be told, since they happen every day as CMPs use their hearts and their music to help others. We recorded 7 CMPs and 1 MHTP student, either offering their music or reading the written stories of other CMPs. The identity of patients in the stories has been protected. The name of the author of each story will be stated at the end of their story. The names of the musicians and readers are listed at the end of the video, along with information on how to contact MHTP if you would like to be a part of bringing live therapeutic music into healthcare facilities for patients and staff by either becoming a CMP, hiring a CMP, or supporting our educational programs. For now, please sit back, relax, listen with your open heart, and allow the music and stories to enfold you into the daily world of therapeutic music and of being a CMP.
The patient was on comfort measures only. Before I entered the room, the nurse told me he was dying, that he wouldn't respond, but that he could hear me. The patient was in bed, breathing through his mouth, eyes closed, looking on the brink of death. Because he was actively dying, I knew to play improvised, unfamiliar music. I began with the phrase of chant, softly in a major tonality, deep peace. My intention was to create a loving, peaceful environment for this gentleman. I watched him closely the entire time, improvising on fragments of the melody with a lot of silence between phrases. His face seemed to relax a bit, and his breathing slowed also. This encounter felt sacred. I felt bad that he was alone. I have no idea if he has family. I wanted the music to convey peace, as well as the connection of another human being. I spoke to him before I played and before I left. I felt that it was a sacred honor to be at this man's bedside in his final hours. When I entered the room, it was full of family crowded around the patient. So I took that, in addition to his comfort measures only status, to mean that he was in his last few hours of life. I started with some loosely metered music as a way to fill out the room and not to confuse the family by playing unstructured music right away. At one point, the patient's wife asked if I knew any songs from the 50s, and I thought about it for a bit, played a very vague line from an old standard, and then moved back into loosely metered, unstructured music. At one point, the family was all crowded around the patient, crying, and I found myself tearing up. So I switched from singing to mainly playing unstructured guitar. Both the family and the patient seemed very calmed by the music I was playing, so I kept up in the style that I was playing. As soon as I started playing this music, the patient opened his eyes and looked around. All of a sudden, he was aware of his surroundings. I was told that he had been in a vegetative state until I arrived. His daughter asked him if he liked the music, and he looked at her and grunted that he did. Later, he even became verbally communicative with his children and grandchildren, telling them that he loved them and being notably more aware of and responsive to their attempts at conversations. I was blown away by this experience. It was so clear that music had given this man access to his conscience in ways that he didn't have before, remembering memories, recognizing faces, having the opportunity to verbally express his love to his family and to accept it back from them. At one point, fairly soon after I arrived, even his great-granddaughter called him from Canada and wanted to speak to him on the phone. She said she loved him and he responded that he loved her too. I was so happy that I had started playing in time for him to be awake for that phone call. There was so much love in the room, and I was honored to be able to witness the amount of care that this family had for one another. Sadie Gustafson Zook. My first patient was my son. He was born at 7 months, around 32 weeks, and he had to be in the NICU for weeks. He had trouble breathing and eating since he was a premature baby. Before I started playing music for my son, he would have 5 to 6 apnea episodes a day. He would only eat around 10 to 15 milliliters by himself, and most of his food would need to be administered via a feeding tube. After my second CMP module, my teacher, Aline Benoit, encouraged me to start playing live therapeutic music for my son. But when I first suggested it to the nurses at the hospital, one of them was not at all convinced about the idea of me playing the violin bedside for my baby. After I started playing, that nurse brought the other cribs from the NICU to where I was playing, and all the babies simply stopped crying. The hospital stopped being just a hospital. It became a sanctuary of hope, love, and healing. That same nurse who was skeptical at first said after I played, "I think you should come at least once a week." Well, our son started to eat more and breathe better. After a few days of playing every night, he was eating 30, 40, 60, even 80 milliliters by himself. They took his feeding tube off. His apnea episodes reduced to 1 to 2 every other day. An average baby boy usually stays in the NICU until week 40, full term. But our son came home around week 37. I will never forget my son's first reaction to live therapeutic music. I played a movement of a Bach sonata that I used to play for my wife when she was pregnant. And he smiled. Hope Salazar.
Thank you for watching and for listening. Thank you for your interest in therapeutic music and in the Music for Healing and Transition program. In the information that follows, you will find how to contact us if you would like to be a part of bringing live therapeutic music into healthcare facilities for patients and staff, by either becoming a CMP or hiring a CMP, or by supporting our educational programs. Gratitude to each of the CMP and student musicians, the readers, and the story writers. Thank you.